there should not be any dialects or variations in the pronunciation. So, and however, in India especially, in different areas, there are different regional languages, and these regional languages, they have their own some kind of pronunciation variations in their regional languages, and because of that regional language influence, when those parts of the people they speak Sanskrit, we might hear some variations, but they are not actually, they should not be there. They are not actually valid while speaking Sanskrit. In speaking Sanskrit, the techniques are well defined, and these definitions, what we are studying now, they are actually written down. They are available in various ancient textbooks, starting from the Vedas themselves. In the Vedas also, there are parts of Vedas. They are called Pratishakyas, those parts where this the pronunciation techniques are defined there for different Vedas. For Rigveda has its own Pratishakya part, and Yajurveda has its own part for pronunciation. But which does not mean that they differ. Those the parts of the pronunciation where they define the pronunciation for those relevant texts, for the relevant Vedas, they just cover about those Vedas, but they are essentially the same. When we say they are all saying that their origin is throat, the position is throat. The position is palate. They are all same. So everywhere that is same. And after the Vedas also, there are other texts, other works where we find this pronunciation, like Naradiya Shiksha and Paniniya Shiksha. So Shiksha, this Shiksha Shastram, Shiksha is a science of pronunciation, which was taken up earlier, I mean, in ancient times, when when these kids were initiated into learning. They used to go to this to their teachers, and when they were initiated into learning, the first thing they used to learn was Shiksha, the science of pronunciation, and there are various texts around it, but they are all essentially the positions and the actuators do not change. They are all same everywhere. There are no different dialects, but in some cases there could be a new sound, a different sound at a different position or a different actuator. So that's about it. And now today, in today's day-to-day use, the certain sounds, the alphabet what is being used now has been simplified. Means certain sounds which were used during ancient times, they have been left out to simplify the alphabet. And certain sounds, they have been restricted, they have been limited use during the pronunciation of Vedas only. But otherwise, for common day-to-day use, the same dialect, same type of pronunciation, same techniques for those sounds. Those are standard. Okay, and for this different vowels, all the vowels, 13 vowels, and we started with the consonants, how to pronounce the consonants. So to pronounce any sound of the alphabet, so there are 5 positions which are defined as per the Sanskrit alphabet. as per the Sanskrit alphabet, 5 positions defined. What are these 5 positions? These are the positions where our tongue is going to try and stop the air in order to bring out that particular sound. So different parts of the tongue is going to be acting as actuators here, or instruments or actuator to try and stop the air. The air will be either completely stopped or it would be constricted. So the air will be passing through a very narrow gap, or it will be totally stopped. So for the pronunciation of the vowels, there will be no constriction or no stoppage. There will be free flow. And what are the different parts of the oral cavity used for different vowels? For example, and a, where the air is being constricted, or there's a pressure on the air, is in this position, like somewhere in the back of the mouth, which is like we call it throat position, back of the. And the next position, and here back of the mouth, the throat position also, we are using the back of the tongue to constrict or to put pressure on the air. And now the next E position, E, short E and long E position, we use this second position, that the soft top portion of the mouth, to constrict to put pressure on the air using the top of the tongue. Then comes the ridge position, or the cerebral position, where we use the tip of the tongue, we point towards it but do not touch to pronounce certain vowels. That is the vowel of these ones. And then comes sound, where we use tip of the tongue pointing towards back of the front teeth, no touch, till position. Then there were other vowels, A, I, O, O. So pronounce A, I, we use a combination of throat and palate, A and I. And for O and O, we use a combination of throat and the lips. The lips are circular, O, O. I think perhaps I missed oo and oo. Oo, we use just the lips in a small circular fashion to pronounce oo and oo. Now coming to the consonants, so there may be confusion here. When I write this, when I'm writing the word here chalk, this whole thing chalk is not a consonant. Only the portion of this is the word I'm using here just to illustrate the sound of that consonant in an English word. Approximately it will sound similar when used in an English word. So the whole English word itself is not a consonant. The part of it, the highlighted one here, for example, the highlighted word here, the highlighted part here in this word chalk. Chalk is the complete word, English word. In that cha, the cha word, the cha sound, the first syllable, cha sound, that is the consonant word, consonant sound in the Sanskrit alphabet. So that is what I'm trying to illustrate here. So the second one is a kachim. So in this entire word, the highlighted part, cha, kachim, cha part, the cha part is the consonant word, the consonant sound in the Sanskrit alphabet. So we went through some of the consonants here. So the first one was like the k, the first series. Actually, we are looking at the series here. The first one here, the first row. You look at the first row here, it's a guttural sounds. Guttural means where we are going to use our back of the tongue and constricting the air at back of the throat here, or the back of the mouth. You see here, this part. So the first one here, the first row in this table, all these sounds use the same position. Use the same position, at this position, back of the throat and back of the tongue, to constrict the air there. So k sound, as in the word skull, as in the word skull, the k sound there, so you can experience that by slowly pronouncing k, by expanding your throat. I mean, you can keep the lips in the natural position, but if you can expand inside the throat area and trying to say k, you can experience that k sound. When you are trying to say that, the tongue, back of the tongue is touching the throat there inside. And in the first row here, first row, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. So these are the 5 sounds in the first row. For all of them, we are using the back of the tongue touching the back of the throat inside. The difference between the columns here, is we are putting voice or resonance in some of them and breath in some of them. Less breath, more breath. Less voice, more voice. Voiced, unvoiced. Breath, less breath, more breath. So these are the difference between these columns. So let's say once again. For example, the first row again. Ka, ka. When we say ka, like skull, ka, here there is no resonance. There is no vibration of the throat muscles. And also it's like a muted sound, and then there is a less breath there, like, so that is represented by -v, -a. Less, it is muted and less breath. And compare that with this ka, which is explosive nature. It is similar to ka, but we are putting more breath. We are bringing out that sound with an explosive breath there. So what we say is ka. So this is also muted. We should not be hearing any additional vibrations, but there is more breath here. The next one is ga. Ga. So again, hold your neck with your fingers and try to say ga, ga. So the position of throat and tongue is same. Back of tongue, back of throat, ga. But when we say ga, the example word for this was, English word was here, bug or gate, gate. When we say that, ga, compare that with k and ga. So there, some vibration is there, a vibrational sound, a resonant sound is heard, ga, whereas k is mute, k. So wherever we say ga, it is like melodious, like a hitting on like a bell or a smooth plate or metal plate, whereas a ga is like a hard plate or a wood, which is voiced, which is unvoiced, mute. Ka, ga. And while pronouncing ga, less breath, and its counterpart with more breath is gha, where we are putting more breath there. Gha. So there are ka, kha, ga, gha. Those are the first 4 columns, and the last one is nga, and this one is special here. Nga, nga. This is also voiced because we hear that resonance. Nga, that vibration is there. It's not muted. There's no explosion. There's no heavy breath there. But there is less breath, like ga, ka. There is nga, less breath. But the difference is the air is passing through the nose also. Nose also. When the air is passing through the mouth, it is also, the half of the air is passing through the nose also. While we say the first column ka, so the air should not pass through the nose. And ka also nose. Ga, nose. Any question, Monica? Any question? No? Oh, okay, I'm putting you on mute. Nga. So the approximate sound would be like the word sing, sing. So when we say sing, so before pronouncing that g at the last letter g, so there is a sound ng, sing. So that ng sound is the last column in this first row, first series, guttural series. K, kha, g, gh, ng. The next series, remember the series means the rows are based on the position of in the throat, where a tongue is trying to stop, or it is stopping the air. It is stopping the air because here we need to stop the air completely. Or it need to stop means we need to touch the tongue to those positions. So the rows are defined by those positions of stoppage, whereas the columns are defined by mute, unmute, that is voiced, unvoiced, and breath, less breath, more breath, and whether nasal passage is involved or not. That is the last column. So for the first 4 columns, no nasal passage is involved. The last column, nasal passage is also involved with the oral passage. The first one is guttural, the second one is palatal. So in the palate, we use this second position, the oral cavity. Right? So when we say chalk, ch, that first ch sound, the top or the plate of the tongue is going to touch this top part, ch, and the ch sound is produced there. Again, this ch is in the first column, muted and less breath. Then we put more breath, ch. So that is the second column. Then we move on to the resonance or the vibration with less breath, j, like just sound, j, the j in the just word, j. Then more breath, the same sound, j. Then the last column with the nasal, the same position, like nya, like enjoy. So this may not be pronounced in English like what I am saying, but something similar to that. The sound which comes before j sound in Sanskrit, but in other languages when you say it may be different, like enjoy or something. You may be actually sounding na there instead of nya. But in Sanskritam, the sound is nya. So nya. Again, the top of the tongue is touching the palate, and it's a nasal sound, nya sound, like enjoy, pinch, like nya sound. That is the second row. The third row is cerebral, so where we put the tongue, tip of the tongue. Here the actuator or the part of the tongue used is the tip of the tongue, slightly curved upwards and touching the ridge, the hard part of the top part in the oral cavity, behind your teeth, much behind. So we started ta, which is unvoiced and less breath, and same thing with more breath, ta, and then we have da, which is voiced with resonance, and then less breath, da, and then more breath, da. And the last one we have nasal, na. So for all these, the position remains same with tip of the tongue, ta, da, na. I think we talked about these first 3 series in the last week. The next one is dental. The position is back of the teeth, back of the front teeth. The actuator or the part of the tongue is tip only, the tip of the tongue, but this time it is not curled, not curled backwards like it was for the previous one, for the cerebral ones, but this time it is just straight, touching or pressing the back of the teeth here, the front teeth, the tip of the tongue. So which are these sounds? These are similar to this, the sounds, but not exactly. The words which are shown here, for example, table. I mean, I think generally what I have seen, heard is this part of the oral cavity is used. The tip of the tongue is used, touches this part, which is not exactly back of the teeth, or it is not a ridge also. Between the ridge and the back of the teeth, somewhere in between, this part is used when these words are used in English. For example, table and till. So it's somewhere in between. But this position is not used in the Sanskrit pronunciation. So there are cerebrals, which we saw before, ta, tha, da, dha, na, and there are dentals, which are right at the back of the teeth. So the tip of the tongue has to press the back of the teeth here. So there is no in-between position. So the first column there, which is unmuted, unvoiced, and less breath, is the tip of the tongue pressing back of the front teeth. The same with more breath becomes tha, tha, ta, tha, and now comes the voiced and less breath is the. Position remains same there, the, and more breath is the, and the nasal one, same position for the tip of the tongue, back of the teeth, but now it is nasal, called na. So na sound, I think it is common in English words like nut, or nose, na. That na sound coming in the beginning, nose or nut. So there, the nasal, it's a nasal sound, nose is involved, as well as the tongue tip is touching the back of the front teeth. Those were the dental sounds. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Then the last one is a labial, where the breath or the air is stopped by the lips. The lips are closed and the air is stopped there. Pa, as you see, when you say pa, as in parrot, as we said, parrot, or the words are shown here, purge, that pa sound at the beginning, pa. So this one is muted, mute sound, less breath, pa. So when we say pa, the tongue itself is not touching any part of the oral cavity, but the lips are touching each other, pa, and they are again opening to say that pa. The same pa with more explosive breath there, pa, becomes the second column, pa. Now when we say purge in English, it may not be completely muted, but it is this. When we say that in Sanskrit, it has to be completely muted. No, the ha, that element should not be there. Pa, purge, like that. It should be completely muted. Pa, or parrot, purge, pa. Then comes the pha, where there should be complete breath. More breath should be there. Pha, loophole, pha. Then the next column is vibrational sound, ba, ba. So when you say pa and ba, pa, there should not be any vibration. Ba, you can feel that vibration in the neck, ba. But less breath. Add breath, then it becomes bha, bha, like somewhat like abhor, bha. That is the fourth column with more breath. And the last column, nasal sound, is ma, ma. Again the lips touching each other and opening, ma. But nasal passage is involved there. Ma, mother, ma. So that was the last row, where the position used to stop the air is the lips. So that if anybody would like to try, they're welcome at this stage. They will try, or any questions.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Uma.
Yes, Monica. Go ahead.
Uma.
Uma. Yeah. Which one you want to try?
Which one should I'll just start from the beginning, I guess. The first
Yep.
line.
Okay.
K, 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 g, g, nya.
Yes. Yes.
Ch, 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 ja, ja, nya. K, k, da, ga, na.
Hmm.
T, t, da, da, na. Pa, pa, ba, pa, ma.
Yeah. So here, can you try this palatal again?
Palatal, yeah. Cha, cha, ja, ja, nya.
Yeah. So here, put more breath here. Cha, cha.
Cha, cha.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And jha.
Ja.
Yes. Yeah. And now come to dental.
Dental, yeah. Ta, ta, da, da, na.
No. So
Na.
yes, na. Yeah.
Na.
Now, the first column, it takes some practice. The first column, try to not add that ha sound. Make it completely without ha sound, completely muted. Ta, ta.
Ta, ta.
Yeah. Yes.
Ta.
Yep.
Da, ta. Da, da. Na.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
Anyone else to go?
I'll try.
Yeah, Veena. Yeah.
Ka, kha, ga, gha, nya. Cha, cha, ja, jha, nya. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Pa, pha, ba, bha, ma.
Yes. That's much better. Now, can you re-pronounce these two?
Nya, nya.
So both are, you see, both are sounding similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pronunciation what I'm hearing is this one is right. Both are sounding similar, like yeah. And this one is different,
Yeah.
where nga nga. So
Yeah.
nga.
We should hold at the throat.
Yeah, throat. So whereas yeah,
Yeah.
you are putting it on the palate. Where here, try to expand the room, where the space inside the throat.
Yeah.
So try to say. Can you say sing?
Sing.
That nga. That's ng.
Sing.
Nga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the second one is nya.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This one is easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So. All right. Now there are few more consonants. Now how many consonants we looked at now so far? We looked at 25 consonants. There were 13 vowels, right? 13 vowels. Let me recall. These are the 13 vowels in the Devanagari script, which I believe you are all practicing or familiar with by now. A, I, U, U, A, I, O. 13 vowels. And we looked at these 25 consonants, consonant sounds so far. This with these positions and less breath, more breath, mute, unmute, and nasal. Now there are few more consonants. The first one there is ya sound. First one is ya sound. Now ya, as you see here, it is vibrational, less breath. And what is the position? Palate. The air where we are going to stop the air, so we are going to stop in the oral cavity, is palate. Ya position. So how is the ya pronounced? Something like yum. The ya sound, the first sound in yum word, ya. So that sound is a consonant. It's classified as consonant. So why is consonant? Because again, here you might feel that the tongue is not touching anywhere in the oral cavity, right? When we say yum, but it is very close to touch. Where? At the palate. When you say ya, yum. When you say ya sound, ya, it is similar to that sounding e, right? E is also the position of the tongue is raising up. The tongue is raising up this part towards the palate, and here also it is raising ya, but it is much closer compared to when we say e. Ya is almost, you are pressing this top part against this palate, very close contact. You are putting a lot of pressure there. Ya. So that sound ya is the next consonant. It is considered a consonant, but it is not. These consonant series, and the last few consonants we are studying, consonant sounds, these are not put as a series as such, like these 25 first sounds. They are classified into these 5 rows. They are put as 5 rows. But the last 9 consonants or 8. Eight consonants. They don't have any class as such, but they are their own class. They are not categorized into a certain series as such. So they have their own class, but they have the positions defined, and all of these, they do not completely actually need the touch of the tongue inside, but they come in very close contact. That's why they are kept separately like this. The first one is ear sound. Again, the technique to sound ear is we'll see that, but can anyone remember the technique to sound A, or in Devanagari A? What is the technique, if you remember, to sound A? A, remember, A is the combination of A and E, right? In Devanagari it is A plus E. So A is equal to A plus E. So we start with A and quickly change to E. That's when it sounds A. So A, which is like a natural position, and E is like a palatal position. So when we start with A and quickly change it to E, A. So then the sounds becomes A. That is the technique used for A. Now for ear, you reverse it. Start with E and quickly change it to A. It is the reverse. E to A, E to A, not A to E. A to E becomes A. Now if you reverse E to A, then the sound is Ya. So you can try that. When I say E, start with E, and when you say E, you see that the tongue is in the palatal position, E, and E, I'm trying to change it back to A. You can do it in the slow motion, and you can feel that the sound changing to Ya, Ya, Ya. Okay? So, but that is in the slow motion. But this Ya sound is quick. Ya, Ya. So this is palatal position. Remember, palatal. Yeah. The next sound is R. R sound. This is a cerebral sound. What is the cerebral sound in the vowels? If you remember, cerebral sound in the vowels. Which one is cerebral in this? Which one is cerebral? Anybody? Yeah. Here also, this sound R, R. These are cerebral. So remember, this is simple to remember. So for example, these are guttural. E, these are palatal. U, labial, lips. R, these are cerebral. U, this is dental. And AI, combination of guttural and palatal, O and E, and then O, combination of guttural and labial. This is simple to remember. So in this vowel series, vowels R, short R and long R, these are cerebral. So similar to that, similar to this R, cerebral. So here also R. We are using R here. But the difference in between the vowel, remember vowel, the tongue, any part of the tongue is not going to come in contact with any part in the oral cavity. But here, for ra, the tip of the tongue is the actuator, and that is going to come in contact with the cerebral part in the mouth. So this is again in the consonant series. Before we saw, here we have seen, say cerebral, there is a line here, a row here. So in the cerebral there are 5 consonant sounds, t, th, d, dh, na. So for all these, tip of the tongue comes in contact with the cerebral part of the mouth, the hard part of the ridge. The same thing, the same technique, the tip of the tongue also here also comes in contact with the cerebral part, the hard part, ra there. But the difference is that when we say ra, there it is not as complete contact as we say ta. There is complete contact, more pressurized contact is there. Ta, tha, da, dha, like that. But here there appears to be small gap, ra, right? Ra. When you say ra, small gap, ra. Now, the technique again is the reverse of r. So so when we say r, so we are trying to push the air out. But here in case of ra, we are trying to stop the air. Ra. You stop pushing the air out freely. Ra. And here we are trying to stop. Ra. With that tip pointing up. Whereas in r, the tip is pointing forward. Tip of the tongue pointing forward. Trying to push the air out. But here we are trying to stop the air. Ra. So that's about ya and ra. The next in the consonant sound is la. La sound. La, as you see here, it is dental. La. La sound is dental. And as we know, the position for dental is tip of the tongue in contact with back of the teeth. La. So other dental sounds, consonant sounds are ta, tha, da, dha, na. And this is also same position, la sound. This is somewhat similar. This is similar to the sound what we hear in the beginning in the word love. Okay? Lonely, love, like that. Or lips, la. That la sound, which in the beginning, la, is to be pronounced by bringing the tip of the tongue in contact with back of the front teeth. La. The next we have is wa sound. Wa. So the example here is, this is a labial where the lips are involved. When we say wa, the lips are the main parts which are used to sound this. So this is something like the first sound here in the word wake. Wa, wake. This is different from, I think it is different from the sound which is used, which is heard when we use V actually in the English words like vanilla. So that one is different. This wa sound in Sanskrit is more like W sound. Wake, 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 not vanilla. So that is somewhat different sound. So we can compare this with the W sound, the sound which comes when we use W in some of the words, not always. It sounds like wake, awakening, that was sound. Again, technique to use sound is start with the vowel which is labial. The vowel which is labial is oo sound. Like we have in Uma, the first sound oo is labial. That is a consonant. Now start with that and change it quickly back to oo. So when we in the slow motion, we can hear that oo changing to wa. Oo. When it becomes quickly, it becomes wa. It is wa sound. Wa. So we have ya, ra, la, wa. So these are voiced, and there is a resonance, less breath. Ya, ra, la, wa. But these have different positions, as shown here. The next sound is in this column. The next sounds are in this column. Sh, sh, sa. These are muted, non-voiced, but more breath. More breath. The first one, sh. This needs a palatal touch. So, like in the consonants, what are the palatal sounds? We saw this palatal sounds cha, right? Cha, cha, ja, jha. These are palatal sounds. So for the sh sound, for the sh sound, the position remains same, palate. Like for example, in the word shawl, something called shawl. The tongue is again, the top of the tongue is very close to the top of the palatal position there, very close, very almost touching. Sha. Yeah. Whereas cha, we see that we can feel that touch. Cha, cha, ja, ja. Sha, there's a air which is being forced out. Sha, from that position. And for the palatal vowels, what are the palatal vowels? E. There is no touch, but still the tongue is closer to this palate. E. Cha, there is a touch. And now sha, there is almost a touch. Sha, but the position is same. Something like the sound of sha in the word shall. The next in the series in this consonant sound is sho or ash. Instead of sho may be similar to shal, but maybe like ash. So here what is happening, and when you say ash, the difference between shal and ash, if you can experience that, when you say shal, the top of the blade of the tongue is towards the palate, and tip of the tongue is just forward, just natural position, shal. But where ash, when you say ash, the tip of the tongue is pointing up towards cerebra. or at least that is what is supposed to happen for the Sanskrit alphabet. Sh. The first one is sh. The next one is sh, where tip of the tongue, this is cerebral. The tip of the tongue is pointing towards the cerebra, coming in almost in contact there. Sh. What are the other cerebral consonants? So we had this ta, tha, da, dha, na. These are the cerebral consonants coming in complete contact with the tongue, cerebra and the tongue. But in this consonants, one of the cerebral position consonant sound was ra, ra. The other one is this sh position, ra, sh. In the sh, the tip of the tongue is even more pointing backwards compared to ra. If you can see the ra and sh, just it's more back because more air has to pass out. Sh. Like ash or cash. So we don't say cash or ash. So we move the tip of the tongue back in the top. Cash, ash. So that is the next sound. And the next one is this one, dental. S. Unvoiced, more breath. S. S. So when we know dental, what is the position? The tip of the tongue and back of the front teeth. Those are positions. Now, in the other consonant series, the dentals were these one. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Where the tip comes in complete contact, back of the teeth. Ta, tha, da, da, na. But here, when we say sa, sa, the tip is not in complete contact. Is trying to pass the air out, push the air out. Sa. So example word here is summer, like summer, sa, or sing, sa. The first sa sound, sing, summer. So that whistling sound, the sa, sa coming there, sa. So that is a dental with more air. And the very last consonant sound is ha. Ha sound. As you see where it is placed, it is guttural, that is throat is important. Ha, ha. Similar to saying but there is breath is involved here. More breath. Ha. When we say or ah, there is no breath. When we say ha, the breath comes out. And that too warm breath here. Ha. Ha. That's the guttural with its voiced vibration and more breath. So why are these sounds sh, 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 s, ha? The sh, sh, s, ha. Why are they shown in red here? I have shown them in red here because these four consonant sounds, they have a very unique characteristic compared to other consonants or other sounds. So when we pronounce these sounds, the warm breath comes out. Sh, sh, s, h. The warm breath is being thrown out. So they are plus A, means aspirated, more breath is required. And when we pronounce these sounds which are in red, sh, sh, s, the warm breath is coming out or should come out, and that can be verified by just putting some glass or some mirror in front, close to your mouth or lips outside, and then trying to pronounce these sounds. So the vapor should deposit on the glass. Sh, sh, s, h. So that is a warm breath, consonants with warm breath. So that's why they are in red. So with this, we looked at 13 vowels, sounds, 25 consonant sounds which have their own series, each of them guttural, palatal, cerebral, dental, labial series, 25. And in addition to that, there are 9 more consonant sounds like ya, ra, la, va. This is the first. This is how the order goes: ya, ra, la, va. Then this second. Then the order is sh, sh, sa. Then ha. Order in the sense in the alphabet chart. Ya, ra, la, va first, and then sh, sh, sa, ha. This is the order. Any questions anybody wants to try?
I will try. Zuma, please.
Yep.
Okay. Ya, ra, la, va, wa. Sh, sa, sa, ha.
Yeah, good. So can you say that sh and sh again? Yeah.
Sh, sa. Oh wait. Sh, sh, sa.
Yes, that was good. Better.
Thank you. Everyone try.
I try.
Yeah.
Ya, ra, la, wa. Sha, sha, sa, ha.
Yeah, good. Good. So others also please practice these consonants, and we'll quickly look at Devanagari script for these consonant sounds. So I have prepared this chart here, and you can download these slides and practice. And in addition to that, the book the link I had sent, and also these are there. You can also practice. The workbook is there. In addition to that, there is an app. So if anybody is interested, they can practice on their mobile phones. Which you can share with you later. So these are the Devanagari scripts for the first in the series: Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga.
Sanjeev?
Yes.
You said in your email that you received some work that has been done. How is it being sent?
They're taking the pictures and sending it.
Ah, picture. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not necessary, but if you want to just me to be in loop, then you can send the picture to me. But these are simple. You can keep practicing this. Ka, Kha, the direction of the guidelines to write, the directions are here, like the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So it's again, these are the guidelines. Remember, these are not the rules. Some people, they have their own way of starting somewhere, finishing somewhere. That's okay. So for example, ka. So and the middle one is the standing line is 3, right? But I start usually like this, ka. When I start writing ka, I start with the vertical line for my reference. Then I start at like this, without lifting my, first this one, then the loops I do with starting from the middle, and then without lifting my pen, I complete the loop like this, and then the horizontal line on the top. So with that, I feel it convenient because I get a reference as a vertical line. So instead of doing the loop first and then doing line, so that is fine. So then the ka I start like this, as shown the number 1 there. Then wa, the second part, wa, the ka there. Then the ga part, ga, start with this vertical line and then horizontal line. Then to ga, nga, we don't have to lift the pen as far as the first part is concerned. Then there is a dot here outside. Nga, there is a dot, and then there is horizontal line. The cha. So here it looks like this part is touching this vertical line, which it's not actually. That's a font thing. It should not touch. So there should be a gap here. Okay? A gap. Cha. Then there is cha. In cha also, you can write it like this. There are variations, or you can make a loop here. So you can start with the loop. This is also fine. Cha. Okay? And here it is shown like that the first starting point is below the horizontal line like this. This is also fine, but it is also accepted that if it is in the line of that vertical line, horizontal line, in that line, if this comes in the in that same line, that is also fine. So this part doesn't have to be below the horizontal line. So the next one is ja. Ja. Then the ja is a bit complex. So we start like this, which looks like E. The first part looks like E. And then we make a horizontal line, vertical line, and again horizontal line at the top. Then ya. Ya is simple. First just a half circle, and then horizontal line, vertical line, or the final horizontal line. Yeah. Then we have ta. Ta is simple. Semicircle hanging like this from a vertical line, and the final horizontal line on the top. Ta. Then the ta is like a complete circle hanging down from the vertical line. Ta. Then da is similar to somewhat like this nga, right? This nga is here without the dot, no dot. This is da. If you put the dot, that becomes nga. Then dha here, dha. Then na, there are two parts, one like this, na. Then there is ta. Tha, we need the loop. The first loop is important. Okay? This is not. This becomes ya. We will see later. But the loop is important for tha, so here becomes tha. Again, here you see this horizontal line coming in same line with the loop here. Okay? This is, so if we are writing this in a word, the tha, the horizontal line breaks in between. Okay? We'll see that. Tha, and then the is, so it looks like ta. First ta, and then there is at the bottom there is a loop here like the. The first part is ta, and then you put a loop at the bottom with the line there. You see the similarity here, like the ta is only, and with just the loop is dha, and with the line hanging at the bottom, it becomes the. And then we have dha. Dha again. Some people do loop here, so that is loop is shown here. Some people there is no loop. But if you put loop, then it becomes clear. Again, this loop or this part comes in line with the horizontal line at the top, breaking the line there in a word. The and na. Na is simple. Then the last line, labials, pa. So either you can write like this, or usually I don't lift the pen, just continue it like this. Okay? Pa. And then pa. Pa is also pa. One, I started the vertical line for reference, then like this. One, pa. Then we have ba, again a circle here, vertical line, and slant line, or in the middle in the circle, ba. Then bha. First this part, bha, and a vertical line. And there is last one is ma. You see bha and ma are similar, but bha has a loop and there is a break in the horizontal line, whereas ma, there is no break, there is no loop. Simple ma. And the last 8 consonant sounds in the script in Devanagari, they are written like this. First ya. So as you see here in the last part here, ya, which looks like this tha, right? Tha. Here tha, but here the ya does not have a loop, and there is a horizontal line crossing it. But when you write tha, there is a loop and the line is breaking there. Tha. So this is ya, this is tha. And then there is ra, like this. Now, if you look at the previous Devanagari script here, the second in the guttural, the second sound, kha, kha. Here also the first part looks like ra. Okay? But ra is also this first part. But how do we know when we are writing in a sentence? How do we know whether it is a ra or kha? It is just by looking at the word we will come to know whether it is ra or va. We have to know the word actually to know whether it is a ra or va. We have to know the word first, what the word is. So then we can figure out whether it is a ra or va, because the script look similar. So then because you see here there is a va also here. So this is Ra and this is La. So La I write is start like this. So some people like this to complete like horizontal like number 3 in the English, sleeping 3, and then there is a vertical line here and there is horizontal line. This is also valid, and sometimes it is also written like this. Both are valid, both are okay. And then the next one is Va. Va is complete circle and vertical line, and this one. So if you remember in the last slide we saw similar to this, but if you have slant line in between, then it becomes ba. Whereas this is without the slant line, it is Va. So that's what I was saying. So if you look at this Ra and Va, and then there is a script for K sound, which is like this. K is, look, K, the script is like this, which many times is confusing. Is a combination of Ra and Va, means in the script when writing, but the sound is K. Again, by looking at the word, we'll be able to say whether it is K or whether it is a Ra and Va there. Usually when it is K, these symbols, they are very close to each other. Okay, like this. They don't touch each other, but they are close. The next sound is Sh. This is a palatal sound, Sh, like in sugar, Sh. So a loop is also possible at the top here. Like here the loop is not seen, but loop is also very widely used. And a vertical line after that, and this is Sh. And then the cerebral Sh sound, like in cash. Okay. So we have this like this first. What is this script? In the previous slide, this was P. This is actually P. And if you put the slant line in that, then it becomes Sh, cerebral Sh. Now Sa, the dental one, is start like a Ra, then horizontal line, vertical line, horizontal line. Then H, this is maybe complex. So I and many people. So here it is like it looks like a broken ear. Here it is shown like this, and then you do like this, and then a horizontal line. So this is also okay, but the other way of writing that which looks similar is just complete this part first, and then do this part of the curve. For me this looks like a quicker one. Whatever you can, whatever is easier for you, like this and then like this. So these are the last 8 consonant sounds. Now before we wrap up, let's touch base upon the next slide. So using the sounds, vowel sounds and the consonant sounds which we have learned so far, I have put together some of the words on this slide. So these are very simple words which we can try to pronounce, so that we get some practice not only by pronouncing the consonants and the vowel sounds on their own by themselves, but also in the words. So these are not compound words. These are not complex like a combinational sounds are there. These are very simple words which have straight vowels and straight consonant sounds. For example, the first one is Aja. So we already studied how to pronounce A and J, which is palatal. So A is guttural, J is palatal. So the sound, the word is aja. Next one is gaja, gaja, gaja. So you can practice these at home, pronouncing these words. So what are the meanings of the words? We can see that separate, different in a different class. For example, aja means goat, gaja means elephant. So aja, gaja, hara. So these are the words. I put them in the Devanagari script so that it will be a practice for you to read also Devanagari script as well as pronouncing the sounds, the simple vowels and consonants. So aja, gaja, hara, kara. Let me pronounce these quickly here. Aja, gaja, hara, kara, haya, bharana, ramana, karana, bhaya, harana. This is harana. Avagamana, agamana, gamana, patana, atapa, yama, damana, jala, jalaja, sakala, kamala, vana, phala, phalaka. So one thing you have to notice for, especially for fa sound, pa sound. So can somebody pronounce like this?
Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix. No.
Phoenix.
Yeah. So when you so the sound here, the fi, whereas this or you can say fail also. Fail. How do you pronounce fail? Fail.
Fail.
Fail. So here, if you notice that the first sound, we are not actually completely touching the two lips there. The air is being forced out when you say f. It's actually there is an element of teeth is also involved when you are trying to say fail. You see that the lips, the lower lip is trying to push the air through the teeth there. Phoenix or fail there. Whereas when we say phalaka, phala, it is not. It is different completely. Here we are completely touching the two lips together here. Phala, phalaka. So we are not keeping them open or trying to force it through the teeth. So like fail, phoenix. So these are different sounds. This phala, phalaka, this pa sound does not exist in the English pronunciation. English pronunciation, when we use this ph or f, that sound is different. Phoenix, that there is no touch, the complete touch of these two lips with each other there. So here, pa, it is simple, natural. The touch, we are not making any special effort to push the air out through teeth or something like that. So just a phala, phalaka. So that difference you have to understand. So we should not pronounce this phala like the sound in fi. So phala, phalaka, phalaka. That sound should not be there. Should be phala, phalaka. That should we keep that in mind. Because this pa sound does not exist in the English phonetics. Okay, so any questions here? All right, so we'll stop here today, and so please practice writing the consonants and the vowels also, and also when we practice writing, obviously you're practicing reading also, and you can go through you can practice these simple words, and the simple words are also probably in that workbook I have given you. might be there. If not, you can go take this as an example, this slide, and then try reading them. Any questions here?
Yes, Sanjeev Shivanan here. So in ka, I know you went at length there to differentiate between ra and va, and that I've seen quite a few. Actually, I'm looking at one of the alphabet sheet where for ka, that first loop that looks like ra, it joins the vertical line.
Right, that is a font actually. It is not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah. So I understand what you said. Like for example, it looks like something like this.
Yes.
Yeah. But this is like some fonts they use in the computer fonts.
Okay.
Yeah. So generally, if you see like this, it is still ka. It is still ka.
Yeah, and just I've noticed for cha, and where the vertical line touches that loop, as opposed to the other da. Yes. So in that case, it's just an observation where the vertical line is actually down and the loop is yes. I used to get confused with that, but I think I've noticed the differences.
Between this, right? The cha and dha?
Yes, those two.
Vertical line. So cha is, see here you see in the font here you see the cha like this completely, and there is a vertical line, and then like this.
Yes.
So again there are variations, slight variations to this, like this cha. You without lifting pen at all, so I can do like this, and then there is a break here. This is okay for this cha. There is a break, and for dha there must be a break. For dha there must be a break in the horizontal line. So dha there is a break here, and maybe are you talking about the vertical line at the bottom?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the cha for cha there is no vertical line here at the bottom, but cha there is a loop here. Loop here for the cha. For dha there is no loop here on the right side, but there is a vertical line completely.
Yeah, that's what helps me to differentiate the two. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll meet next week then. And
6:30.
6:30.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
We say dhanyavad in for Sanskrit to say thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry?
How do we say thank you in Sanskrit?
No, dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha. Okay. Thank you. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha.